When people talk about betrayal, they usually speak of friends, colleagues, neighbors, people who exist on the edges of one's life. But the betrayal that slices deepest comes from the people you raised with your own hands, the ones you fed, sheltered, and loved. I never imagined that my own son, the boy whose forehead I kissed every night, would be the one to stand tall in my living room and declare, "This house belongs to us now." But let me start from the beginning. The home I built. This house wasn't much when I first bought it. A two-bedroom brick structure with chipped paint, ancient wiring, and a roof that leaked every monsoon. Back then, my late husband and I were not wealthy. We lived on his factory wages and my tailoring income. But together, penny by penny, stitch by stitch, we turned this place into a home. My husband died 10 years ago and my son, Adil, was still in college. I worked double shifts to ensure he graduated without debt. When he found a job in the city and eventually got married, I helped pay for the wedding. I didn't think of it as charity. I thought of it as a mother's duty. When Adil and his wife, Sana, asked to move in just for a few months, I said yes without hesitation. After all, this house was filled with memories, and I had enough room to share. What I didn't know was that they came with more than their suitcases. They came with expectations, with plans, with a sense of entitlement. The changing atmosphere. At first, things seemed fine. I cooked for them, they helped occasionally, and every weekend we sat together like a perfect family. But slowly the tone changed. Sana began dropping comments like, "This house is too old-fashioned. We'll have to renovate once it's ours. Adil, you should handle the property matters now." Each time, her words poked me like a needle. Adil, once affectionate and considerate, began acting differently. He started talking less to me and more to Sana behind closed doors. I heard whispers sometimes, quiet, tense conversations that ended abruptly when I came near. Then came the day everything erupted. The declaration. I was in the kitchen preparing tea when they entered, both of them stiff, serious. Adil's jaw was clenched. Sana had her arms crossed like she was about to confront an enemy. Adil began, "We need to talk." I dried my hands on my apron and faced them. "What is it?" Adil exchanged a glance with Sana. She nodded. "This house," he said, "it makes no sense for you to keep it." I frowned. "What do you mean, Beta?" Sana stepped forward, as if she had been waiting for her cue. "Auntie, we're starting a family soon. We need stability. And legally, the house should belong to Adil now. He's the only son." My heart cracked at the coldness in her voice. "Should belong? This house is mine." Sana's eyebrows arched. "For now." Adil raised his voice, something he hadn't done since he was a teenager. "This house belongs to us now. You don't need all this space. You can move into the small guest room and eventually we'll decide what's best." The audacity, the entitlement, it hit me like a slap. I looked them both straight in the eyes, feeling anger rise from the depths of my chest. "Where did you learn to speak to me like this?" I asked quietly. Adil shifted uncomfortably, but Sana remained defiant. "You raised him to be responsible," she said, "and he's being responsible now. Responsible for taking away my home." The hidden plan. After they stormed off, whispering to each other, I sat down with a heavy heart. Something felt wrong, off-calculated. I suspected this wasn't a sudden outburst. It was something they had been planning. The next day, while they went out, I searched the study table where Adil usually worked. What I found confirmed everything. Property transfer forms, signature lines, bank papers, a note in Sana's handwriting. "Once house is in our name, we can sell and upgrade." Sell? My home, my memories, my husband's last gift. A sting of disbelief hit me so sharply that I had to sit down. They didn't want the house. They wanted the money. That was the moment my grief transformed into resolve. The lawyer visit. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I went to a lawyer the following morning, a calm, intelligent man named Farouk who listened patiently. "Auntie," he said after reviewing my documents, "you own this property fully. Your son has no automatic claim, and if they're trying to manipulate you, I won't let them," I said firmly. Together, we created a plan. 1. I drafted a new will, leaving the house to a charity for widowed women. 2. I legally stated that any attempt to pressure me into transferring property would lead to police involvement. 3. And most importantly, I arranged for the house to be placed under a lifetime occupancy protection clause, meaning nobody could force me out, not even my own son. I returned home with a small, quiet smile. War was coming, but I was ready. The confrontation. It happened that evening. Adil and Sana cornered me in the living room, their faces red with frustration. "Amma," Adil snapped, "why didn't you sign those papers we left on the table?" "I didn't see them," I lied calmly. Sana stepped forward. "We know you saw them, and we know you're being difficult on purpose." I finally rose from my chair, looked them straight in the eyes, and said the words that had been burning in my chest. "This house is not yours, not now, not ever." Adil's face darkened. "You can't stop us, I'm the heir." "No," I said, "you're mistaken." I walked to my cupboard, pulled out the legal file, and handed it to him. He flipped through it, his eyes widened, his hands trembled. What did you do?" he whispered. "I protected myself," I replied. Sana snatched the papers from him, scanning them rapidly. "This is illegal," she shouted. "It is fully legal," I corrected. "Your lawyer can confirm." Adil glared at me. "You're choosing strangers over your own son." "You stopped being my son," I said quietly, "the day you tried to take what wasn't yours." For once Sana was speechless. Her face turned pale. Adil swallowed hard. "So what now? You're kicking us out." "No," I replied. "You will leave when you find a place, but the house stays mine, and after I die it will help women who actually appreciate the roof over their heads." Sana sneered. "You're punishing us." "No," I said, "I'm teaching you." The aftermath. They stayed for another 2 weeks, mostly avoiding me. The tension in the house was thick enough to slice. One morning I heard suitcases rolling. They were moving out. Adil approached me, his expression softer, almost ashamed. "Amma, we didn't mean to hurt you," he whispered. "Then why did you?" I asked. He had no answer. Sana didn't even say goodbye. As they drove away, I felt a mix of sadness and relief. I didn't want to lose my son, but I also couldn't let him walk over me. Love without respect is not love. It is exploitation. The unexpected letter. 3 months passed in silence. Then one day, I received a letter. It was from Adil. Inside was a handwritten note. "Ahmed, we were wrong, I was wrong. Sana and I argued a lot after we left. She didn't like that I apologized. Eventually, we separated. I miss you. I want to make things right if you'll let me. Your son, Adil." My breath caught in my throat. I sat down, letting the emotions wash over me. Regret, sadness, hope. The reunion. A few days later, Adil came home. Without Sana. He stood at the door like a stranger seeking shelter. "Amma," he said, tears shimmering in his eyes, "I'm sorry." I looked at him for a long time. Then I opened my arms. He broke down in my embrace like a child. Though the damage was deep, healing had begun. A new beginning. Adil visits me twice a week now. He cooks for me sometimes, repairs things around the house, and sits with me in the evenings sharing stories from work. He doesn't mention the house anymore. And I don't bring up the past unless there's a lesson to be shared. We're rebuilding, not as a mother and a dependent son, but as two adults learning to trust again. In the house, It still stands strong, still mine, still full of memories, still protected. But now it also holds a new memory. The day I learned that a mother's strength does not come from her children, but from knowing when to stand firm, even against them.